Welcome to this week's AI Tech Roundup, a show where we explore all the key happenings from the AI world and see what really matters for the future development of the field. My name is Jan Stichitz, Director of Data Science at Shelf. Let's get started. This week I want to start with Meta. They've been fairly quiet in the past few months, but now they come out with two announcements. First is Llama 3 suite of next-gen foundation models. So after Llama 1, Llama 2, now they're coming out within the next month with Llama 3. This was announced at a London event which they attended, and it seems to be a family of models. So what we can expect is something similar to Anthropic, where they released 3 different sizes of the model. So they had Haiku, Sonnet, and Opus. Models are different in size, capabilities, and cost. And what is their goal? Our goal over time is to make a Llama-powered Meta AI be the most useful assistant in the world. So something similar as we can see with ChatGPT and also Gemini models. And the second big announcement from Meta is the next generation of Meta Training and Inference Accelerator. It is a family of custom-made chips designed specifically for AI workloads. So this is something which we see all big players do, is elevate, improve their AI infrastructure so they can train bigger models, better models. Meta is no different. They're coming out with their own chip. And just as a comparison, on the left, we see the chip Meta is coming out with, and then on the right, we see the new chip showcased at a NVIDIA GTC conference by their CEO, Jensen Huang, about a month ago. So you make the choice. I know which one seems more promising to me. Next one, Google Cloud Next. It was a conference hosted by Google, happened the previous week in Las Vegas with over 30,000 attendees. And it was not that much about cloud. It was more about generative AI and generative AI capabilities coming to Google Cloud. I'll mention a few of the key ones. Number 1, Google Vids, AI-powered video creation. Second, Gemini Code Assist, AI code completion. So this is something rivaling GitHub's Copilot. Workspace, upgrades, email writing assist, tabs for docs, meeting summarization. Imagen 2, Google's image generation model, text to image generation model. So they're building this capability in Gemini. That one had a few hiccups, but this is a model specifically designed and trained for image generation. Now it also supports live images, which is actually a short video of up to 4 seconds. Vertex AI, agent builder. So 2 main flows or focuses which we can see: multimodality and agents. And Google is going all in on agents. They announced the agent builder capabilities within Vertex AI. There's videos coming out of how that one works, but essentially it allows you to build conversational AI agents specifically designed to handle certain tasks. Gemini in databases, NVIDIA Blackwell platform also coming to the Google Cloud platform in 2025. So this is the AI infrastructure. Google Cloud will be powered by NVIDIA's chips. Gemini 1.5 Pro, public preview or in public preview, available on Vertex AI in 180 countries. So this is Google's most capable generative AI model. And key point here is context window sizes of up to 1 million tokens, which is the industry leading number. The model is obviously very capable, rivaling ChatGPT and some of the other large models from other main model building companies. I also want to share a couple of thoughts from industry thought leaders after this conference. What we keep seeing through the surveys, through the studies, is that data quality keeps being the number one issue preventing companies, enterprises from realizing the potential of generative AI. So the first one is from Kashif Rahmatullah, principal, Google Cloud practice leader at Deloitte. These conversations can start with an AI conversation, but that quickly turns into, I need to fix my data. And I need it to get clean. I need to have it all in one place or almost one place before I start getting the true benefit out of generative AI. And then the second one from authors of the article, that should be helpful in connecting and cleaning data. By that meaning Google Cloud Platform, especially in companies that are further along the digital transformation journey. But for companies that haven't taken meaningful steps towards digital transformation, it could present more difficulties. even with these tools Google has created. So this issue still remains, and this is something that companies will need to tackle when they start going on their generative AI journey and they start using models for different enterprise use cases. Continuing with Cohere, or Cohere's Rerank 3 model, Cohere focused on enterprise Gen AI use cases, most heavily focused on retrieval augmented generation, and then providing different models that can help retrieval augmented generation pipeline work as accurately and as efficiently as possible. And one of the pieces of retrieval augmented generation is re-ranking, which helps our system get to those key relevant knowledge pieces from our knowledge base relevant to the query the user has presented. So Rerank 3 is their newest model that helps do that. Foundation model for efficient enterprise search and retrieval. It has a 4K context window length, meaning it can compare larger documents to queries, compare or assess whether this document is relevant for a given query. It has the ability to search over multi-aspect and semi-structured data like emails, invoices, JSON documents, code and tables, multilingual, 100 plus languages, and it has improved latency and lower total cost of ownership. And I'll get into this total cost of ownership just after this graphic showing how a RAG prompt looks like without this re-ranking step, and then how it looks like with a re-ranking step. The main difference being how many documents from our knowledge base are presented to an LLM when we ask it to address or answer a given question. Now, if you're not completely sure what I'm talking about, I invite you to check out a video on comparing RAG to long context windows on this channel, on Augmented Use channel. But essentially, in their example, we see on the right, with re-ranking, only 5 documents are presented, injected into the context window of an LLM, and then this is what the LLM sees and processes before answering a question. Now, why the total cost of ownership is decreased? Because in the first example, without this re-ranking step, let's say we inject 50 documents into the context window, which is something that longer context windows allow us to do, the costs of LLM processing per token obviously will be much higher, as opposed to on the right on that graphic, an LLM only sees 5 documents, much fewer tokens, and that reduces overall costs of our pipeline. Continuing with retrieval augmented generation, we have a RAG leaderboard from Tonic AI. What they've done is compared different RAG solutions to see which one comes out on top. What we're looking at is something that looks like a NBA playoff bracket, something that is about to start very soon, actually. And in our competition, Cohere came out on top, beating Haystack in the finals. What they also provide in the article is the methodology and what the evaluation steps are, and also what dataset. It is their dataset which they use to evaluate these different RAG systems. And in the end of the article, we can see the whole leaderboard, RAG solutions scored from 0 to 5, Cohere being number 1 with a 4.62, Haystack coming in second, and then LangChain coming in third. So RAG, we see a lot of articles on RAG, is really the main use case, or a use case which is seeing the highest level of adoption in the enterprise, a technique allowing us to connect large language models with enterprise knowledge. And last item I want to cover today, it is an article published on the Harvard Business Review titled, "Is Your Company's Data Ready for Generative AI?" And what the authors of this article do is cover a survey from AWS, which included over 300 CDOs and data leaders, and the survey was titled CDO Agenda 2024, Navigating Data and Generative AI Frontiers. So exploring what are some of the main issues that CDOs see or face when transforming their organizations for the generative AI future. What I want to do is share some of the key findings and thoughts that were shared by either the survey respondents or the authors of the article. What we see is generative AI changes the way we utilize data, and that changes how we must approach quality assurance, data quality assurance. So here are a couple of thoughts that support that. AI historically worked with structured data, typically numbers in rows and columns, but generative AI used unstructured data, text, images, even video, to generate new or recombined forms of unstructured data. So that shifts from structured to unstructured. And then second, companies have not yet created new data strategies or begun to manage their data in ways necessary to make generative AI work for them. So generative AI changes the way data is used, and we must approach managing this data differently. And then to continue, the relatively unstructured data that generative AI uses needs to be well curated for accuracy, recency, uniqueness, and other attributes if generative AI models employing it are to be useful. Poor quality internal data will yield poor quality responses from Gen AI models. So garbage in, garbage out is very much true when we want to integrate large language models with our enterprise data. And this sentiment was shared across the whole survey or across all survey respondents, where we see that the biggest challenge for your organization in realizing the potential of generative AI is data quality. Data quality is the number one issue. We see this consistently across different surveys and studies from the field. And what does it take to get your data in order, to get it properly structured, quality assured for successful generative AI initiatives? Here I want to share a couple of thoughts from Jeff McMillan, Analytics and Data Officer from Morgan Stanley. We have been curating our document-based knowledge for about 5 years, so 5 years worth of effort. It was not because we anticipated Gen AI, but rather because people were dissatisfied with the level of quality of our existing intranet content. So by fixing this, we inadvertently were ready for Gen AI. And then he continues, every single piece of research content has to be reviewed by a registered compliance person. So we know the training content is of very high quality. Even in non-research content, we have a team that scores individual submissions on issues like tagging requirements, broken links, presence of a summary up front, and we give each document a grade. So what companies need to do is assess the quality of their current content, identify content risks, and then address them before they start to use this data in different generative AI use cases or applications. And another one, as with data transformation in general, for most organizations, it will be a monumental effort to curate, clean, and integrate all unstructured data for use in Gen AI applications. So what organizations need to start looking for is solutions that allow them to identify content risks and address them efficiently. This is the first step they need to take when they try different generative AI solutions or they take on different generative AI projects. Some other key thoughts or findings from the article and the survey. CDOs agree that data strategy is the foundation of generative AI. However, only 37% agree that my team and I have the right data foundation to pivot to Gen AI. 93%, so almost all of the respondents, agreed that data strategy is crucial for getting value out of Gen AI. And then lastly, 57% have not made any changes to their data strategy just yet. So generative AI came very, very quickly, and now companies are starting to realize what do they need to do to actually capture the value that this technology can provide. And then the author of the article finishes with this, but if Gen AI is going to transform the organization, it doesn't make sense to wait to start preparing data. We and most of the survey respondents agree that Gen AI is a transformative capability. The job to make a large organization's important data ready for AI could easily take several years. The time to start is now. This is it for this week's AI Tech Roundup. Includes Meta, Llama 3 models coming out, their own AI chip, Google Cloud next. Not so much about cloud, more about generative AI. Cohere coming out with Rerank 3, a model supporting RAG pipelines. Cohere also coming out on top in Tonic AI's RAG leaderboard. And then lastly, data quality and data strategy are key to successful Gen AI implementations in the enterprise. Thanks for being with us. We'll talk again next week.